Colleagues, my understanding of Mr. Jiang Chongtai's query had included myself, and according to ROP, even though I'm moderator for election of chairman, I am still bound by ROP. So I will defer to legal advisor if there's a pecuniary interest, whether I can continue to moderate the meeting. So a legal advisor can give us a brief description. I think members are familiar with ROP 83 capital A, and it says in the relevant meetings, if members cannot put forward motions if they have direct or indirect pecuniary interests unless they disclose the nature of the interest. So that is on pecuniary interest. And now clause 84 is about voting, and regarding moderating meetings. Now, if they have pecuniary interests, can they conduct the meeting? The ROP does not have prohibition against that. So we see the agenda is election of chairman. So the member who is moderating this event will have to determine whether he has direct or indirect pecuniary interest. If he has that interest, then before he speaks, he needs to declare the nature of the interest. But as the said just now, we don't have any prohibition against members conducting the meeting. Another supplement is that in the past we had deferred this to ROP committee. In 2014-15, the ROP committee, after discussion, the conclusion was that they do not need to amend the ROP. Okay. As a lawyer, I don't have any cases that are dealing with fugitive offenders, and I had asked my law firm, and the call could not connect. My partner, now whenever he takes cases, he won't notify me, and he does not share the revenue. I'm just a consultant lawyer. So as long as I don't introduce clients to the firm, there's no pecuniary interest. So I can tell the public and colleagues, I believe at this moment, I cannot say for sure what will happen in the future. I have no direct or indirect pecuniary interest. So I hope Mr. Jiang Chongtai can take note. So even though I have made the disclosure, now I think I can conduct a meeting. Now, if I do have a direct or indirect pecuniary interest, I will consider whether I'm suitable. But at this moment, I am suitable to conduct a meeting. Thank you, Mr. James To, for making a disclosure. This is not your speaking turn. I have just responded to your query. So in the future, when we elect a chairman and deputy chairman, now Mr. Jiang Chongtai, when we enter the election process, I will deal with your question. Okay, next. If you need to declare interest, according to your explanation, then one of the law firms I am working for, we have some business dealings with Mr. Lau Lin Hong. I'm not involved in that business, but is this an indirect interest? So I am declaring this interest, and I also declare I will be interested in nomination for chairman. So I'm not sure whether I can be nominated for chairman. So when we get to nomination stage, we will deal with that. Mr. Jiang Chongtai had raised this question, Mr. Au Lok Kim. bear in mind, we're not talking about political issues. I'm referring to Mr. Awlokim. So first of all, to respond to Mr. Jiang Chongtai, if we take note of ROP, you are not here to respond to Mr. Jiang Chongtai. We are dealing with whether Mr. Zhou Jihong is asking whether I have the right and whether I should postpone. I think I don't have the authority. So if you think I have the authority, I will still have to explore this point. Will you extend the meeting? Why don't you announce whether you will extend the meeting first? We now have 8 colleagues who have not spoken. So even if you extend, it's useless. I think we should not extend. It's meaningless. Mr. Awlokim, do you have any further legal reasoning for postponing 1 week? I suspect whether this Bills Committee can function normally. If it cannot function normally, you should postpone. Mrs. Carrie Lam said today she will not meet with the Pan Democrats. Sorry, Mr. Awlokim. This is preventing communication between legislators and the government. Well, in ROP, we do have adjournment for debate and adjournment of meeting procedures. The legal advisor had reminded me, Mr. Kenneth Chen, the clerk for the Secretariat, the term we're using is adjourn, and he feels that can include I have no right to postpone the election. We are not permanently stopping the election. Of course, this is the clerk's view. You can state your view. My view is very simple. I think the chairman, under 76 subclause 5, you have the right to determine the date of the meeting, and in this meeting you have the right to adjourn and choose a new date. So the ROP provides for adjournment for debate, adjournment for meeting, allowing our meeting to have more flexibility to make decisions under different circumstances, and this discretion rests with the chairman, Mr. Lam Chak-ting. According to our ROP, your role is to help elect chairman, and according to the clerk, Mr. Kenneth Chen's letter, you have no authority to postpone or adjourn the election or meeting. For first of all, the clerk, Mr. Kenneth Chan, typically, I would agree, in normal circumstances. So, does Mr. Kenneth Chen's explanation cover all circumstances? I don't think so, because as with the courts, there was a ruling on the power of the legislature that we need to exercise the chairman's rights reasonably to conduct the meetings. And just now we talked about under what circumstances what extraordinary cases where the chairman could postpone or adjourn the election, unless there's a disorder and so on, or there are other social events, such as we are being surrounded by 100,000 people.
And you are worried that if you go through the procedures, it would cause disability in Hong Kong, and then you want to adjourn the meeting for a week so as to sort out the matter, then you have a ground to adjourn the meeting or adjourn the election. Sorry. You want to say that time is up. Chair, I have a proposal. Understand that 6 other members are on the list. I hope that if the members wish, we don't speak and then we go directly to the election of the chairman, and then we extend the meeting by 15 minutes. Of course, subject to the agreement of the other 6 members. Mr. Kwok, even if the 6 members don't speak, we will be halfway through the election of chairman. No, I think it's better for us to start the election procedure even if we can't finish it, because it would have been better if we start the election. I don't think it is meaningful to have a nomination or 2 because we'll still be halfway in the procedure. So meeting adjourned. I'm going to fix another date for the meeting. Thank you.